As we mentioned at the top of the hour, President Trump leaving the door open to campaigning with Roy Moore after appearing to throw his support behind him.
Are you going to campaign for Roy Moore?
I'll be letting you know next week, but I can tell you, you don't need somebody who's soft on crime like Jones.
All right, all this as the latest Real Clear Politics average of polls shows Moore trailing his Democratic opponent, former federal prosecutor Doug Jones, by nearly 9 points. So could the president's words help move the needle in Moore's direction? Let's put that question to our power panel. Back from the outnumbered couch, Fox News contributor and the politics editor for townhall.com, Guy Benson, and DNC senior advisor Zach Petkanis, who headed rapid response for Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. So, of course, social media and the Twitterverse is going bananas, talking about whether or not this was an endorsement. What did he really say? Kind of parsing the words. I want to go to each of you. What did you hear there?
Sure. I mean, just to be clear, I'm a former DNC advisor.
Okay.
But what I heard from President Trump was a full-throated endorsement of a pedophile. I mean, we're talking about a clear choice that Alabama voters have when they go to the polls on December 12th. They can have a former federal prosecutor that went after the Klan, who's tough on crime, or you can have someone that actually pulled an 8th grader out of class to ask her out on a date. I mean, those are the choices that Alabama voters have. Those are the choices that Donald Trump had, and he chose the pedophile.
I wouldn't say that it was a full-throated endorsement. It was trying to shift the focus back onto the Democrat in the race, Doug Jones, who is very liberal for a state like Alabama. And some of the things in his record and his stances, I think, are way out of step with the people of that state. Your point about the crux of this race being about personality, I tend to think that there is sort of a bright line question here for Republican voters to think about. But if this is a political choice to be made, it makes sense for the White House and for some Republicans who haven't abandoned Moore, many of them have, to try to draw this back into how would these people vote in the U.S. Senate? Would they vote with the interests of the people of Alabama? Doug Jones, the answer is no. The question is, can you morally justify voting for Roy Moore if you believe his accusers?
Okay, so the way that some might morally justify it in their mind is the idea that the Democrat in this race is for partial birth abortion. And, you know, to a lot of people, that is absolutely morally reprehensible. And they would feel like, well, I don't know. I mean, there's huge moral problems on both sides here. That might be one thought.
I think to draw an equivalence between a political position and someone who wants to rape 8th graders is absolutely disgusting.
Okay.
Not from you, but for people who are saying that. I think it is absolutely disgusting.
So I have made very clear that I'm not a Moore supporter. I was not a supporter of his before all of this came out. To make that clear, I think
because of a lot of his positions.
Yeah, no, I think he was unacceptable to me as a Republican voter if I lived in Alabama, which I don't. And it's up to the people of Alabama. But there are some very serious charges against Roy Moore. I find these women credible. The idea that Roy Moore is even accused of raping an 8th grader is not true.
Attempting to rape. Having sex with a 14-year-old by a grown man is rape. And I want anyone to challenge me on that point.
So let's get back to like the race at hand, though. I mean, I hear what you're saying. But
although,
now
can I just jump back? Because I want to, first of all, what he is accused of is a sexual assault, and I think it is very serious and credible, and I believe these women. I think when you start using words like rape, that is a very loaded term in terms of what he is or is not accused of, point one. And point two, I understand why you would be on a high horse morally about this, because sometimes there are very bright distinctions when it comes to politics. I would challenge you, maybe not directly, but a lot of Democrats, if Bill Clinton were up for election again, let's say he ran for president and were the nominee in 2020, he is credibly accused of forcible rape. Would they vote for him over a Ted Cruz? I think history shows the answer is yes.
Well, look, I was 15 years old when Bill Clinton left office. That's the age when Roy Moore goes after most of his girls. So, so I can't speak to that. However,
would you vote for Bill Clinton if he ran again?
I think that all of these women need to be believed, and I think that we need to hold everybody accountable, whether it's Al Franken or whether it's John Conyers or whether it's Bill Clinton or whether it's Donald Trump.
So you would not vote for Bill Clinton for president against Ted Cruz?
Would you vote for Donald Trump?
I didn't. Your question.
But you didn't answer. You still didn't answer.
I was 15 years old.
Yeah, that's a dodge.
Yeah, that's a dodge. You don't want to answer.
I mean, look, I think that
he was accused of forcible rape.
I think that all women need to be believed, And I think
like Juanita Broderick.
Okay.
Look, I think women need to be believed.
Okay. There we go.